Welcome to Wednesday's preview. We only have two games tonight. They're both early games, so hockey will be over with relatively early today. And the first game starts at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, and that's Ottawa at home against Detroit. And I want you guys to contain your excitement just a little bit here. Ottawa is 1-6-1. Detroit is 3-6, and they're coming off of a blown 2-0 lead going into the third period against Vancouver last night. So, if Detroit wants to be at all relevant, you win this. If they lose this, they go to 3-7. It's as bad as we thought it was, and then they're contending with Ottawa for last overall. That's where we're at, because then Ottawa would only be 1 point behind them. To get to 3-6, Detroit, well, they won 3 of their first 4, so that gave everybody a bad idea that maybe they were better than they were. At Nashville, they won 5-3. They won at home versus Dallas 4-3. Both teams were considered to look like contenders coming into this season. Versus Anaheim, they lost 3-1. At Montreal, they won 4-2. And then the losing starts. First, at home against Toronto 5-2, which was a closer game than the score shows. Then they went on the road, lost 5-1 at Vancouver, 5-1 at Calgary, 2-1 at Edmonton, came home and lost 5-2 against Vancouver. They're glad they won't see the Canucks again. On the Ottawa side, they started their season off losing to Toronto 5-3 in Toronto. At home against the Rangers 4-1. At home against St. Louis 6-4. They beat Tampa 4-2, which is still their only win to date. Versus Minnesota, they lost 2-0. At Vegas, they lost 3-2. At Arizona, they lost 5-2. And at Dallas, they lost 2-1. So, and I'm not differentiating overtime or shootout or what kind of loss. Just here's the win, the losses, and that's that. Scoring leaders, Mantha, 7 goals, 4 assists for Detroit. Bertuzzi, 3 goals, 6 assists, and Larkin, 2 goals, 5 assists. I have a feeling those are going to be the 3 top scorers for Detroit for the season, unless Athanasiou picks up his pace. On the Ottawa side, Nemesnikov, 4 goals, 2 assists. Connor Brown has 6 assists. And Pajot has 2 goals and 3 assists for the Ottawa Senators. On the goaltending side of things, Bernier, 905 save percentage. Howard has an 898. Anderson, 895 save percentage. Nilsson has a 932. All right, and a quick check over on Daily Faceoff tells me that they haven't confirmed Howard yet, but I would think Jimmy Howard tonight. No, Bernier. Bernier, after Howard played last night. Bernier. And Nilsson for Ottawa, who's got the 932 save percentage. A little bit ahead of Anderson's 895, but that'll even out. Nilsson's been known for having hot starts before. All right, on to the other game. The Pittsburgh Penguins in against Tampa. 6-4 Pittsburgh, 4-3-1 Tampa. Tampa's had a disappointing by their standard start to the season. And it's not a big deal until it is. So until we get into mid-November, it's probably not going to be considered a big deal. Pittsburgh. Inconsistency for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Versus Buffalo, they lost 3-1. Versus Columbus, they won 7-2. Versus Winnipeg, they lost 4-1. And versus Anaheim, they won 2-1. So the one up, one down thing. Then they went on the road at Minnesota, they won 7-4. At Winnipeg, they won 7-2. Versus Colorado, they won 3-2. Big win there. Versus Dallas, they win 4-2. And then versus Vegas, they lost 3-0. Now, the loss to Vegas was all Marc-Andre Fleury. So, Pittsburgh looks like they're in pretty good shape going into Tampa. Tampa's 4-3-1. How'd they get there? Well, at home against Florida, they won 5-2. They went to Florida. They lost 4-3. They lost in Carolina 4-3. At Toronto, they won 7-3. At Ottawa, they lost 4-2. As I said, the only win for Ottawa this year was against Tampa. At Montreal, they won 3-1. At Boston, they won 4-3. And at home against Colorado, they lost 6-2, and that one stings. Now they've got Pittsburgh, and again, a chance to show, all right, we're inconsistent, but we're still going to win big games. Let's see how they do. Leading scorers. Crosby's the leading scorer for Pittsburgh, because of course he is. 4 goals, 9 assists for him. Gensel, 5 goals, 5 assists, and Letang with 4 goals and 6 assists. On the Tampa side, Stamkos, 4 goals, 5 assists. Kucherov, 3 goals, 5 assists. And Shattenkirk with 4 goals and 3 assists. Goaltending side, I'm guessing Jari tonight. I don't know. Why not? Or Murray. Murray's 909 save percentage. Jarry's 941 save percentage. Either way, you've got a goaltender that can stop over 90% of the pucks. Vasilevsky's been confirmed tonight. His 899 overall is concerning. 909 save percentage for McElhinney will be the backup. We know Vasilevsky's better than that save percentage. And he'll prove it. Now, the standings right now are as such. You've got Colorado first with 7-1-1 is their record. Nashville 5-3-1. St. Louis 4-2-3. So still St. Louis and Nashville would meet in the first round if that was the final standings. Edmonton 7-2-1. Despite their recent scoring struggles, they're still first in their division and they need to refocus and get it together. Vegas is 7-4. So 14 points for them. Vancouver is 6-3 and they're third in their division. Who thought? 12 points. Anaheim 6-4, 12 points. And the Arizona Coyotes would get a wild card spot, 5-2-1. Arizona would play against Colorado. Anaheim would play against the Oilers. And Vancouver would play against Vegas. So that'd be interesting. I'm not betting on Vancouver necessarily being anywhere near the playoffs. Just it's fun to look at it right now. Buffalo's number one in the Atlantic, 8-1-1. Boston's 6-1-2, 14 points, and number 3 is Toronto at 5-4-2. So Toronto and Boston are somehow destined to face each other again. Not necessarily, because Toronto's 5-4-2 is vulnerable to being passed. In the Metro, Capitals 7-2-2, 16 points. It turns out maybe I was right in the preseason when I said, hey, these Capitals look pretty good. If not for a couple of blown leads, these guys would be 9-2. Carolina 6-3, Pittsburgh 6-4. So Pittsburgh would play Carolina in the playoffs. To which the Capitals likely would say, probably good. The Florida Panthers right now have that number 1 wild card at 4-2-3. The Islanders number 2 wild card at 5-3. The Islanders would play Buffalo, and Florida would play the Capitals. So, surprisingly, out of the playoffs, in the West, you'd have Calgary, you'd have Winnipeg, San Jose would be a surprise, Dallas would be a surprise as well. Look for at least one of these guys to end up on that side of the ledger by the end of the year. In the East, surprisingly, out of the playoffs, Tampa Bay right now sits in this spot. So, they're a few spots out of the playoffs, but again, they're only a couple points out. They win tonight. They would push into one of the wild card spots. New Jersey's not a surprise for being out of the playoffs, but just how poor their record's been overall. But they've won back-to-back games. We'll see if they can continue that. And the Rangers being 2-4-1 is a mild surprise after starting the year 2-0. So there you go. You guys are set up for tonight. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Winners and whatnot. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.